Greetings, and thank you for joining us for the 24th episode of DC Animation with Spencer and Friends. This is an LMG Podcast Production. Today, I'm joined by a dear friend.
Hello, it's Maurice again. Good to
It
see you.
is it is Maurice again, and it's great to see you as well. Um, I'm so glad you're here.
Ah,
Uh,
good to be here.
yeah, I've been excited about this episode since our last episode.
Yeah, man.
So, for the people that don't know, could you just tell them a little bit about your DC consumption?
Yes, I have consumed most forms of media. Little comic book, mostly video games, mostly movies.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Excellent. So, I appreciate you for joining us on this journey through DC animation. Today's film is Justice League Gods and Monsters, released July 28th, 2015. I'm going to read a synopsis and then we're just going to talk about it. So, we open with the planet Krypton soon to be destroyed. Jor-El and Lara are preparing an incubator pod, and just before Jor-El adds his genetic code, Zod shows up and puts his seed in there, and the ship takes off just before Krypton explodes. The baby is formed in the ship and lands on Earth, where Lex Luthor promptly gets in there to start studying it. The baby pod is empty as a Mexican family found the baby and got him out of there before Lex Luthor's unit arrived. As an adult, we see this world's version of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman arrive to lay waste to a criminal operation. They are able to successfully acquire the stolen data that they were there to retrieve, but over a lot of dead bodies, about which Steve Trevor is not happy. Uh, the League is back at headquarters being protested and listening to the news, and Lex Luthor hate them pretty much. Superman ponders the idea of world domination when Silas Stone shows up for an appointment. A boom tube opens, and a robots that have similar powers to the Justice League start killing scientists. Dr. Victor Freeze is killed by a Batman-like robot, and Dr. Ray Palmer is killed by a Wonder Woman-like robot. Dr. Will Magnus is attempting to find a cure for Batman and also tells him about Ray Palmer's disappearance. Silas Stone is working on a project for Superman when the Superman-like robot shows up and kills him and his son Victor. After Silas's death, the Justice League shows up and starts looking into the death of all of these scientists. They realize that they are being framed, so Batman goes to look through Silas's files, and we get a flashback of his origin story. Dr. Kirk Langstrom was one of the scientists in Lex Luthor's class. He has lymphoma and he's trying to use bats to cure himself. Dr. Magnus is working on nanites, and Kurt thinks that he will be able to help him. That is how Kirk ends up as Batman. So, Superman comes to visit Lois Lane at work and invites her to the Justice League HQ. He shows her that he asked Silas for his help retrieving information from the Kryptonian ship that brought him to Earth. President Amanda Waller calls and lets the Justice League know that they are being implicated for the murders, and Batman goes to visit Dr. Magnus. Batman asks him about Project Fairplay, but he says he doesn't know anything. Wonder Woman goes to visit Steve Trevor for information. Things get heated, but he tells her that Ray Palmer's body was found cut in half. We then get a flashback of Wonder Woman's origin story. She was a part of an arranged marriage with Darkseid's son Orion. Orion gives her the A Whole New World treatment and gifts her with her sword. After their wedding, Highfather slaughters Darkseid's entire squad and Wonder Woman leaves. On the news, the Justice League is indeed being framed for the murders. Batman goes to Dr. Magnus's house where all of the scientists have gathered. The robots show up and kill everyone in the room, but Dr. Magnus lives. So they take him to the HQ to heal up. Under the circumstances, they decide to go to Lex Luthor. So Superman goes to his space station for a visit. And that is where Lex Luthor explains what Project Fair Play is, and it was specifically designed to neutralize Superman. Lex also tells Superman that he has all the Kryptonian data and that he can collect it from the president. Just as Superman leaves, the robot comes to kill Lex. The president orders Project Fair Play, and Metropolis is evacuated. The full might of the military descends on the Justice League HQ. Superman and Wonder Woman go outside to try to talk things out with the military, and Batman puts up the shield to protect Dr. Magnus. Some of the metal men show up to subdue Batman so they can inject Dr. Magnus to heal him. Superman and Wonder Woman are getting lit up with red sun guns, and Dr. Magnus explains to Batman that he is the one who killed everyone, including his own wife, using the metal men. Dr. Magnus plans to use Superman's ship as a power source to detonate a nanite bomb that will basically allow him to put the entire world into an infinite genjutsu. The fight isn't going great for Superman and Wonder Woman, but luckily Lex Luthor is alive and he shows up and explains to everyone that Dr. Magnus is behind this whole thing. Batman is able to escape and let the shield down, and Superman gets in there and starts to go to work. The three robots merge into one giant robot and they start throwing good hands, while Wonder Woman is fighting Platinum and Batman fights Dr. Magnus. The League win their respective fights, and Superman throws the bomb into space so that the explosion is not an issue. After it's all over, Wonder Woman leaves to face her past and is joined by Lex Luthor. And Lex also gives Superman the original Kryptonian files. So, before we get into talking about it, there are three shorts, three chronicles that you should watch. If you have not already watched them, you should be able to find them on YouTube. If you type Justice League Gods and Monsters shorts or chronicles, you should be able to find them. There are three. There is one for each member of the league. We have Bomb, we have Twisted, and we have Big. So I'm going to read a synopsis for each of those as well. If you have not already watched them, pause me, go do that, and then come back, because we're going to talk about those as well. So, the first chronicle is Bomb. We open with chaos in Metropolis being caused by Brainiac. Dr. Savannah suggests a nuclear bomb to handle it, and Dr. Savannah also mentions that Brainiac was created to potentially stop Superman, and now here they are, needing Superman to take care of it. President Amanda Waller gives the green light for the nuke, but Superman says, hey, give me 5 minutes. Superman makes his way into the center of the chaos, which is a red dome. Upon making it in, he finds a child Brainiac in pain and crying because he's unable to control what he's doing. Superman offers to end it, and Brainiac tells him to do it. A couple of glowing red eyes later, the threat has been neutralized. Twisted. In Twisted, we open with Batman searching an abandoned warehouse where he finds a refrigerator of dismembered bodies. He makes his way downstairs and finds a woman who has been kidnapped. He assures her that everything is going to be fine, but then Harley Quinn shows up. They have a fight, which brings them to a living room setup of a family and corpses that Harley Quinn has set up to mimic her own family. She pulls out the chainsaw, but she is unable to defeat Batman. Beaten, she tells Batman to take her back to jail, and he's like, no, how about I just suck your blood instead? And in the Chronicle Big, we open with Steve Trevor captured, and he is about to be killed, but luckily Wonder Woman shows up to save him. The two are then able to fight off the enemies, but Giganta is activated. Steve Trevor insists on handling it himself since this is his mission, so Wonder Woman takes a step back and watches him be very ineffective against Giganta, forcing him to ask for some help. She, Wonder Woman, is able to handle the Giganta problem, which gets her all hot and bothered. Steve Trevor wants to call it in, and she's like, no, we fucking right now. And that is that's the situation. That is the movie, that is the film, that is the chronicles, that is everything that is associated with this world. And so, Maurice, what are your thoughts on the movie?
That's weird. Um, Loved it, of course. It was a great movie to rewatch. It's always gonna be. Uh, I fight scenes always on point. Uh, didn't like how they did some of my boys dirty, but
So, Maurice, what'd you think of the movie?
Yes. Oh, always loved it. Loved fight scenes. I do appreciate how they took some directions on the people, but I don't like how they did some of the people dirty, like Cyborg and his dad, and definitely Darkseid. But you already know that.
Oh, we don't fear not. We will discuss that
Yeah.
because I had
Oh, but
I
I
had
loved it. It
big
was great.
problems with that. Oh, good.
Oh
I
yeah.
also really enjoyed this movie, and I really enjoyed the Chronicles. This is one of those. So this movie stands alone, and I'm kind of pissed about it. Like this universe should have continued. We should have
Yeah.
gotten more from this, and that's what I think the Chronicles were. Like I assume there was a plan for this universe to continue and for there to be more to it, or for us to get prequels. Or like I feel like there should have been more in this world, and there just wasn't. And I kind of have a problem with that.
I'm
Um,
pretty sure there was a thing about that. They said they were going to, but I think it's switched to the directors or whatever. I want to say.
there's always
Ooh,
some
don't lie
studio
to you.
and uh there's always some nonsense from interference from the corporation, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Before we get
Sorry,
into
go
the movie
ahead. Yeah,
itself, what were your thoughts on the art style?
that was fine. It reminded me more of old school cartoons or '90s cartoons, I guess.
Yes, I it had it felt reminiscent of the old style, not necessarily old, but the Batman the Animated Series, Superman, Justice League,
Yeah.
like those. It took me back
Right.
to those days. What were your thoughts on the voice cast?
Also fine. Um, there was who was it? Who was Jor-El? I feel like
Uh, who was Jor-El? Oh, I think that Sasuke was
Sasuke.
Jor-El.
Sasuke. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I loved him. That was a nice. It was short, but it was a nice little surprise. Everybody else was fine. I mean, I didn't really get any bad vibes from him. So.
That's good. Okay. We'll talk about who I had problems with, voice cast wise a little bit later. But generally speaking, I was pretty happy with everyone. Um, Everybody's voice made sense. I will say this is not my Amanda Waller, but she wasn't bad. But
Yeah.
I definitely prefer CCH as Amanda Waller. Um,
Yeah.
and you
She's kind
know,
of perfect for it.
she's perfect for it. See, that's
Yeah, man.
I want her as live action Amanda. I want her as Amanda Waller, period. Moving forward. Always
Yeah.
and forever. But whatever, it's fine. Um, okay. Okay. So, um, let's talk about this universe for a second. One of the things that I really like that this movie does that we don't often see. Usually, whenever we see like Elseworld or What If stories, it's just kind of evil versions of the same people.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is using people in the actual world with more nuance rather than just making them evil versions of the exact same people. One Elseworld story we get that we talked about a little earlier in this series is uh Flashpoint Paradox, where we see some of the same people but in very different situations, but we also see other people that kind of exist in the world used in a different way. So we get a combo. We see that Wonder Woman and Aquaman are the same people. They just have, different life views. We see that Superman is the same
Views, yeah.
person, but we see that Batman is someone different. We see in that world that the Joker is a different person. Um, and I feel like this really took a lot of the people in the universe and really changed things up. One of the things that I really like that they did, Superman's story is supposed to be like the story of an immigrant, somebody from a completely different world, just landing in the United States and having to adapt, potentially feeling alone and, you know, making things happen. So they actually did, I would say, a better version of the immigrant story in this one because that's actually what this was.
Yeah.
And
Listen, I love Mexican Superman.
I do too.
He did an excellent job.
Agreed. I loved it. And yeah, it made sense. I thought it was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, of course, Kirk Langstrom is Man Bat. So, him still being a scientist that was still messing around with bat DNA and him, ending up the way he did makes sense. The fact that Batman isn't a vampire more often is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, like him being a vampire, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Because if Batman was going to have powers,
was
then
at
yeah.
first though. Yeah, no, he would be bat powers. It would make sense.
Yep,
It would track.
that's what vampires are, is bat powers a lot of times.
Yeah.
So yeah, like him being a vampire, yep, that tracks. That makes sense. And then I did not know who Becca was.
Yeah,
Like
same.
until
Which I
they
still kind of don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's fine. It's
like
fine. It's fine.
I probably should have looked into her, done more research and all that, but I was like, okay, she's a new god. That's fine. If I see her in something else, then I will make note of it. But yeah, she kind of just she was random. And that's kind of how it has to be, because in order to be Wonder Woman, yeah, you gotta come from somewhere. You can't just be regular. So
you have to be
have to be Wonder.
Yeah. You a superwoman.
Yeah. And so, yeah, them pulling somebody from New Gods, yep, that's who you need to hang as Wonder Woman. So, yeah, that made sense. But yeah, I really liked what they did with this universe. And I wish that this would have continued and that we would have seen more of it. Because these weren't quite heroes. These were anti-heroes.
Yeah.
And
no, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely had their
And they because they had no problem spilling blood.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. The first thing we see is Batman neck snapping. So,
yep.
So,
and I love it.
What it is. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's so good. And of course, Wonder Woman has never had a problem spilling blood. And we see that, across the everything that we've seen. And, I will sing Wonder Woman's praises all day long. I love Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She's too much. And this version of Wonder Woman, yeah, it's Wonder Woman with a boom tube. That's dangerous.
With a boom tube and like a unbreakable sword.
Yeah.
That's remarkable in and of itself. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like she's an issue. But yeah, I think that in the beginning, we see Superman's origin story, kind of how we got here. And I think that the whole, just put your finger in there for your genetic code was so that it could be Zod's son with no sex.
Yeah, with
so no fucking
unnecessary.
Yeah. And who knows? That might not be how children are created in Krypton. Who knows? This may be the whole reproduction process, and that's all it's got to be. But we know that Wonder Woman doesn't feel that way. We'll talk about that in a minute.
No.
So, we see that it ends up being Zod's son, and that will come up a little bit later, whenever we talk about the meeting that Superman and Lex have. But we pretty immediately see that these are anti-heroes. They, again, have no problem spilling blood. They arrive, they handle it, and then Steve Trevor is like, "What the fuck, guys?" And they're like, it's handled, isn't it? What's your problem?" Like,
Like you got what you wanted.
yeah, like
What do you want?
what's the issue? It's done. So yeah, let's do this. Um, and yeah, that was great. And so then at the Justice League HQ, we also see some more nuance in that the world is pretty divided on this Justice League because of how anti-hero they are. There are some people that are protesting, that are, against it, they don't like it. But I'm sure there are other people that are like, nah, this is how it need to be.
Yeah.
Like, this
Well,
is
like it always shows a lot more of the people who are protesting and stuff. The people on Lex Luthor's side, essentially.
yes.
I guess they were.
That is
I don't
usually how it
understand
goes.
why though.
And that's how it goes in real life too. You often only hear the people that are loudly against something because the people that are happy don't need to, like, they're good.
Yeah, that's true.
And
They don't need to have a big opinion about it. That's right.
yeah, and they don't need
Or
to
make
go
a
out of their
fuss.
way to express anything. Yeah, like the people that are happy are the quietest in often, like in most situations, because it's
Yeah,
when you have a problem that you express that you have a problem.
that's when you speak up. Yes,
And
which that's
so,
when you should speak up.
yeah. And so, yeah, often you only hear the loud detractors.
Yeah,
And this is a similar situation because, again, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are like, nah, this is fine. This is great. I like what's happening. In the movie that you and I reviewed last time, Superman versus the Elite, we see there are a lot of people who are on both sides of it. We see a lot more people on the side of the Elite. We see a lot of people who are like, they're cool.
yeah.
We love them. They do what needs doing, all of that. So we see a
Oh,
lot more we see a lot more feedback from people. We see a lot more people being asked how they feel, a lot more surveying of people for the sake of knowing how the public feels about the situation.
yeah,
Because how the public feels has a lot to do with that movie. Like, that's one of the important pieces of the movie
yeah,
because the Elite is using the public and the media against Superman. And so that's a movie where we see a lot of people's opinions of the situation. And of course, we see more people that are on the side of the Elite, but there are still people who are like, no, Superman is right. This is not the way. We shouldn't be killing, all of that.
yeah,
So in this movie, we only see a little bit of that, but we still see that there's some division as far as how they are viewed.
yeah.
Because normally, whenever they're not anti-heroes and they're just good, Lex Luthor seems to be the only person with a problem.
It
Like, he's the only
yeah,
one kind of speaking against Superman. And
yeah,
again, we see a little bit of that in episode 6. We see Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, and in that, Lex Luthor is again using the people and the public kind of against them. He, you know, basically frames Superman. He has a video showing like Superman tried to kill me, um,
yeah.
and so yeah, he tries to turn people against him and
He's
all of that.
he's like the worst J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
The worst version of him. And I feel like this movie is kind of the opposite of the Elite, right?
Yes.
Like when they're trying to be like, nah, we got this. They're killing it. We're killing the bad guys. We're doing good. And they're like, well, no, you should be better than that. Da, 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 da. And
Pretty much.
flip side on them. It's weird, but it's still great.
And that's the
It's
thing.
still
That's
a good
like
watch.
how the public feels can vary. And
Yeah,
again, we are only hearing about the people that don't like it. And so, yeah. And I'm sure that, there may be other because I think one of the things that's mentioned is whenever the Justice League shows up, there's always a mess left behind.
yeah. You can say that again.
Yeah. So,
Jesus.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because that's the thing. Superman doesn't care. And this Superman, whenever we do see him at headquarters, he's pondering world domination. He's like, should I just
Yeah,
subjugate everyone and make peace? Like,
yeah.
should I just go ahead? Because I
That's the
can.
Zod in him.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
I can do it. Like, we don't have to be having this conversation. And
He could be a lot worse. He could
yeah,
be Injustice Superman. He could
yes, he could.
dominate everything. It could be a
Uh-huh.
real problem.
Yeah, it could be an issue. It could get ugly quick.
Real fast.
And then Silas Stone shows up, and they have an appointment. And unfortunately, we then see Mr. Freeze or Dr. Victor Freeze get killed.
Yeah.
We see Ray Palmer get killed, and
I do like how he was a scientist still, though. I mean, he was
yes,
like, he didn't go down into the deep because of Nora, but he's still a scientist in like the Alps or wherever
yeah, we
doing
still see
his
him
stuff.
in the cold.
Yeah, I like that.
And then also with Ray Palmer, he's still shrinking shit.
Boy, yeah, I don't, I didn't know that's who that was, but the mini horses make sense now. That's
Yep.
that's
And I think
that's pretty messed up though.
yeah, the mini horses were, I think, supposed to be your like point of reference to be like,
Yeah, that was
oh,
the yeah.
that's him. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
see, that
normally,
didn't click.
normally we see him in the suit, shrinking and whatnot. But yeah, that mountain lion or whatever, yeah,
Yeah, that's
just
what I said. That was so messed
got a
up.
meal.
Just
Yeah.
he got a whole meal. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's the Atom, correct?
yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Ray
Making
Palmer's
sure.
the Atom. And so yeah, he dies, and then Dr. Magnus and Batman are old friends, and they're looking for a cure. And uh Dr. Magnus tells Batman, like, hey, you hear about Ray? We need to take care of that. Like he's disappeared. Like that's our friend. Let's deal with it. And to Batman's like, I mean, okay.
What was the time space between that? Between him knowing and, Ray Palmer dying? Was that already on the news and all that? Because I
I
didn't
think it was.
think about it. Oh, okay.
I think
Well, I
it
still
had.
find that weird though, that Batman wouldn't know that though.
Yeah, that's true. And Batman, he may be just a recluse that doesn't look at
I
the
mean,
news,
well, yeah.
or it could be a situation where it wasn't in the news.
Yeah.
Ray's family may have mentioned it because again, they're old
Oh,
friends and they've
because they're
known each other for
friends.
a long
Yeah.
time. So yeah, like it
Okay.
could
Never
be,
mind. That makes sense.
yeah, like even if it hadn't been reported to the news that scientists are coming up missing, Ray's family could have reached out and been like, "Hey, Will, just so you know, Ray's
Yeah.
missing. We haven't seen him. Have you seen him?" And so, because they were talking about him disappearing, not him dying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess they
He didn't
found his
say that he was
body
dead.
later. Yeah.
Huh, that makes sense. All right, never mind. I was like, because
But
I didn't see that. I didn't think about that. That could have been a telling or a tale, rather.
it could have been a little hint.
Yeah,
It
but
definitely could have been a
yeah,
little
I wasn't
hint.
thinking nothing about it. I was focused on the mini horses.
Yeah. And then we see the Superman like robot show up at Silas's spot, and yeah, Cyborg was just a boy.
Yeah, man.
He
See,
didn't
that's so
even
unnecessary.
yeah, he
They
didn't
didn't
even
even make it to where he was gonna become cyborg. No,
no,
he just got
died
burnt
as
to
a
the crisp.
youth.
Boy,
Yeah.
in his father's arms.
Yeah.
That hurts my feelings. God
Yeah,
damn.
that one was rough. And that's the thing, like
Yeah.
this movie did not have a problem killing kids.
Oh yeah, this universe is.
Yeah.
It really ain't got no problem.
And that's the thing. This was PG-13. This was a hard 13.
It was the tip of the 13, yes.
Yeah.
Because they were people cooking, getting
Yeah. This was 13 and
that's
change. Because yeah,
yep.
this was a hard PG-13. Because yeah. And there were no F-bombs in it, at least, I guess. But yeah, as far as what we saw,
Yes.
yeah, this was a hard 13.
Yeah.
And so, um, after Silas's death, the League is like, we need to investigate this. Because this is it's kind of an issue. We should
Yeah.
something's not right. We need to look into this. So they realize that they're being framed, and so Batman goes to look at Silas's, what he has, and then we learn about Batman's backstory. We see then the situation with Will and Dr. Kirk Langstrom
Nora.
and the wife, because it was made very clear to me that she was far more interested in Kirk.
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
very clear.
Oh, it's
And
clear to him too.
and yeah, and that's the thing. It was a good thing she was there because whenever he was, not feeling well, Will was like, he'll be fine. Stop being a bitch. That's basically what Will
Yeah,
said. And
yeah.
she was like, let's call the hospital because he's
Which
not okay.
I guess that's kind of what friends do sometimes. Like, he's fine. You being dramatic, but
That's what, yes, I
he
will
was
say
like, he was
that's what
like
a
sweating.
that's what a
Bruh.
dude often that's what a dude would do. A dude would be like, "Oh, you just trying to get out of going. I told you he was going to
Yeah,
this party, and now you trying to get out
yeah.
of it. No, we're going." And yeah,
But he
honestly,
was definitely sweating, passed out. Like,
yeah,
now something's wrong. Like that. Come on now.
I will say,
I'm
young
sure he knew.
male friends would have been that was accurate,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
And it
Unfortunately.
either would have been a situation where his friends would have been like, "Yeah, no, get up, we're going," or he would have been like, "No, I'm fine. Don't worry about it," because men will often just be like, "I'm not going to the doctor unless I'm bleeding. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
going
true.
to the doctor."
I'm definitely, I'm definitely.
Yeah, Maurice, do
Culprit
you
of
have
that.
a primary care physician?
Yeah, so Dr. Langstrom was like very makes sense, you know? It's crazy. It's
Oh
wild.
God. So yeah,
Yeah,
he was in a bad way, and it's a good thing that somebody cared about him enough to, call the ambulance.
yeah.
And so we then see that Dr. Magnus is like, I'd like to actually
Man.
look into this a little bit. Like I think I can help you a little bit. I and so that's how
Oh,
he
with the
ends up as Batman.
nanites. That's right. Yeah,
Because he
yeah, yeah.
doesn't test it first. He's just like, nope, we're doing it.
Human trials. Okay,
Yep.
sure.
And so
Which I
yeah.
guess he didn't have much time to think about it, but
Yeah, he had
he had a
the
little bit.
lymphoma, so
Yeah.
but he was trying to make it. He was trying to live, so.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I get it. Do you, man?
And then Superman comes to visit Lois and is like, "Hey, why don't you come to HQ? And I can take you." And she's like, "No, I'll drive, thanks."
Yeah,
I was like,
I did like this Lois. She was pretty funny.
"Yeah." And yeah, she was one of the detractors. She was like, well, she was skeptical.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, I thought it was funny that he was like, "I can take it." She was like, "Nah, I got it.
Yeah.
I know we'll
She
get
was
there a lot
skeptical,
faster
and
if you
then
do
when
it."
she got there, she was smart enough to realize that he was trying to use her for clout or whatever.
Yeah.
Hell, she was clever.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And
Lois Lane usually is, to be fair.
yeah. She's a journalist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and she's
Yeah.
usually very intelligent, like as far as
Yeah.
awareness,
Yeah.
other than the fact that, she doesn't know that Superman and Clark are the same person for a long time.
I wasn't
But
gonna
that's
bring that up.
everybody's
That's
that way.
fine.
Like he puts on some
That's fine.
glasses and he different. Okay.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't do that, and it's probably for the best.
I
But
don't think
yeah,
they could do that.
yeah, there wouldn't really be a way to do that.
They're about to say the Mexican Superman, he don't
Yeah, and I
he's
kind of
cut to the
wonder,
chase.
like how that, like if he had a secret identity, if anybody knows who his family is, like I kind of wonder about that. That's why this world needed to continue. I want to
Yeah.
see his life. I want to see
Yeah.
how he grew up, what he was doing, what kind of family
I want
structure.
to see, yeah. I want to see
I
what allies he gets, what other heroes they gonna make into who or what. You know,
Yeah, there's a
I did want to
lot.
see that
There's a
too.
lot you can do here. And
Yeah,
I wanted to, yeah, because one of the things that whenever we were looking at this being a world of people that already exist put in very different situations, like, for example, I would want to see like Lobo as a lantern
yeah,
because Lobo be in space doing whatever. And,
yeah.
him being a lantern would be hilarious.
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
which
He'd be
lantern.
the purple one. He'd be the lantern of hope, I think. I think
He'd
Lobo is
probably
very
be the
hopeful.
lantern of greed. Like he'd
Yes,
probably be the
orange,
orange
yes.
lantern.
Yeah, he would.
But yeah,
That was the first thing that actually went in
yeah,
my mind.
him being the orange lantern, that would be too much.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah, because the orange is actually really that's another.
yeah,
That's another
Lar,
mind. Go ahead.
please. Yeah.
Yeah. He is, man. He's a
Uh,
problem.
but since we see different, personalities in these people, if Lobo was in fact a Green Lantern, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Or
I'll
not.
watch it.
Yeah, or I might
Yeah.
not like Lobo anymore. I don't know. But yeah, like we could have, experimented with a lot of different people in this world.
Yeah.
Um, and I think there was just so much room, and there was a lot we could have done since we are exploring a lot of, alternate situations.
Yeah.
So, back to the movie. We see that Superman is, talking to Lois, trying to, figure stuff out, trying to get her on his side pretty much. And then we see what it is that Superman was trying to do with Silas. So he was trying to have Silas, help him figure out all of the Kryptonian data because Superman didn't really have a lot. And so he was trying to use Silas to, um, fill in the holes, fill in the gaps, get more information and all of that. So the president calls and Amanda Waller's like, "Hey, it's looking like y'all did it. And I just want you to know it's looking like y'all did it." And so then Batman goes to see Dr. Magnus and he's like, "Hey, what is fair play? It's something that I, was looking around and found. So what's the deal with that?" And he's like, "Oh, I haven't the slightest clue." And so Wonder Woman goes to see Steve Trevor and is like, "Hey, let's talk. Actually, since you're doing a little sparring, how about if you beat me, then you can have me. If I beat you, you give me the information I'm looking for." And he's like, "You are a super person, but whatever."
But sure, I
Yeah,
guess.
why not?
Take
And,
the gamble.
he says the wrong thing. It doesn't go well for him. And then we get her origin story. Now, I would like to go on the record. This is by far, without question,
Yeah.
the worst version of Darkseid I've ever seen.
What? Let me say that.
I hated everything about it. I hated his voice. I hated his just agreeing to the situation. I hated
Yeah.
how he got very easily dealt with.
Bitched.
He got bitched, and I don't
Oh, he
like it.
definitely did.
He
Oh
got
man, that
bitched,
was
and I
terrible.
hate it. This is
Yeah.
just the worst. There was not one Omega beam that made it.
Nope.
Like, what?
Well, no, he couldn't. He got tased. You see, and he got tased, so
Yes,
his head exploded. I was
yes,
like,
he did.
okay, sure.
And
Okay,
his whole unit, like his whole squad, got fucked up. But
yeah,
I hated everything about it because me and Darkseid we go away, but Darkseid's my favorite.
yeah,
Darkseid is too
yeah,
much, and to see him in this way was just terrible. This is not my Darkseid. There was nothing about
yeah.
this Darkseid that I liked or appreciated, or it was just everything about it was terrible. And I know that the movie needed to happen,
Yeah,
but they,
not that
yeah,
way.
they did my guy Darkseid so wrong. And
Because Darkseid is he's a being that goes and takes what he wants. He
he's a
doesn't make
tyrant.
deals. He's a tyrant. Yes.
Yeah, he's a
He's
tyrant, and also he's a menace. Like you
yeah,
can't just deal with
he's the biggest
Darkseid
problem.
so easily.
I mean, the High Father is intelligent, and he does make all these plans and stuff. But for Darkseid to just be disposed of like that just doesn't
It's not
that don't
right.
track.
Yeah,
Not
it's
at
not.
all.
No, that's not what. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hated everything about it. But we see, her origin story. There's an arranged marriage to unify Apocalypse and the New Gods, and that's how old school. That's how it worked back then. Like marriage was absolutely, deals made by fathers,
Yeah. But
contracts,
yeah.
yeah, merging of families to gain more power. Like that's what marriage was back then. Like you didn't have to love nobody. And so
Yeah.
he gives her the whole new world treatment. He's like, I know this is arranged. You probably don't necessarily want to be here, but I'm not a terrible guy. I think we can make this work. I think we can get this done. Because honestly, while we don't do arranged marriages here in these United States, there are a lot of happy arranged marriages that happen. I
Yeah.
would venture to guess, and I don't know if this is true. I'm literally just talking, but I would venture to guess that divorce rates for arranged marriages probably aren't as high as they are for non-arranged marriages.
Yeah. Well, I don't know for sure, but I would assume so, yes.
Yeah. But that also probably has to do with the fact that here, a divorce is like $150 later, you can be divorced.
Yeah.
Divorces are very easy to get. People have divorce parties now.
Oh, I did not know that. That's
That's
weird.
it. It's a thing. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
But
all right.
anyway, back to the movie. So at the wedding, she's like, "Hey, let's leave." And she was trying to leave in a hurry, and
Yeah.
Highfather didn't wait, like just got
Did
right
not
to it.
wait a second.
And she was like,
Immediately when they stepped past them, like he couldn't
Yeah.
hear the gunfire happening behind him. He was just like,
Yeah.
okay, they're going. Like, what the fuck? What's going
And that's
on?
the thing. She was like, "You could have waited a couple of minutes."
Yeah. Like,
And
what are you doing?
Highfather was like, "No, we had to do it right now." And she was like, "You promised you wouldn't hurt him." And then Highfather was like, he wasn't gonna let this go. Like he needed to get dealt with too. Like
In
this
his
was
defense, yeah,
he's right.
probably.
No, he's absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Definitely not wrong about that, because I know that, yeah, if I'm in that situation, if I was in an arranged marriage and then, I found out that it was a ruse all along and that her
And that
family
her
killed my
family
family.
executed mine.
Oh yeah. Like
They
you
would
gonna
get
have
hunted
to
down.
either you're gonna have to deal with me or your family's gonna get it. That's
Right.
where we are now. So
Which I guess it didn't really matter because she's gonna end up doing it anyways. Or
yes,
if there was gonna be another movie.
we gonna see. We
Yeah.
will. Well, actually, we'll never see. We'll never know.
No, we might see. Have you
Okay.
hope.
I'd like to see, but I just feel like we're not going to.
I mean, they keep going back and making old movies. They might go back to the animated movies too.
And there may be, I hope that there are comic books on this, because I don't think that this is based on any existing comics, but this is good enough where they could just write stories on it.
Oh yeah, it should
And
be.
so
But
I don't know. But we see that happens, and then on the news, we see the Justice League is indeed being framed for the murders. So all of the scientists gather together, and
man,
was that a good idea?
No, I don't
Probably
understand why
not.
they did that. Hey, we're all getting hunted. Let's have a meeting, okay? Let's get our minds together. Like, what are y'all doing?
And maybe this is before, like, if this had been, during the pandemic, then they would have had a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
But this is pre-pandemic. This is when everything was happening in person. So they were like, yeah, let's all get in a room together. Now, there were definitely some people in that room. Because in this movie, we actually see a lot of folks. So do you remember whenever he was being cussed out by the black lady?
Yes.
Whenever Dr. Magnus was?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember Black Lady now.
Yeah. Karen, that was Bumblebee.
Yeah.
We see Dr. Savannah in this movie. Oh, yeah. Oh.
That's fine.
We see Mr. Terrific in the room. Curtis. We see John Henry Irons in the room. So those were the two black men. The bald
that
one,
was, I was about to say, the one with the hair was Miss Terrific. The bald one was Miss Irons. Okay.
Yeah. And then we see Dr. Light in there. And then there was some other dude who I don't know who he was.
Oh, the orange hair dude. The one that got cooked.
Yeah. Or was he the one that got ripped in half?
Oh yeah, he's ripped. You're right. Dang, how I forget that? Yeah, he's ripped. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, he was the one. I don't know who he was. I'm sure he was somebody, but I couldn't identify him.
Yeah, I'd say before you told me who they were, I didn't remember who they were at all.
They were fodder, is what they were,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it seems that way. Yes.
Yeah, they were there to be killed violently in
Well,
Dr. Magnus's house. And yeah, because I remember in our other episode you mentioned the through the table.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is
What did I
this is
said?
the one.
I said laser through a table. No, it was a sword. It was shink. Like, oh
Yeah,
my god, it was terrible.
yeah,
She had her mouth agape. It was, oh yeah.
yeah.
This is the red wedding scene. Is like it's
This is a red wedding.
this
Yep.
is the yeah. This is the tiptoe of the PG-13. It's quite
Mhm.
terrible.
It is indeed. And gonna be
Yeah.
honest, I loved it. I was here
Oh,
for it.
absolutely. Every moment of it.
Yeah. I
I
was
mean, it
like,
was
oh yeah.
sad, but
It was
yeah,
sad, but I love violence in my superhero things.
yeah.
And
Same. Same.
yeah, they gave me that. I was like, yep, that's
That's
and
why.
so
That's why I like this. All
yeah,
right.
that's why we're here. That's why we're doing
That's
this.
why we're here. That's why.
And so yeah, the robots, oh, it was ugly in that room. Yeah,
Oh
like you said, it was a red wedding.
yeah, bro. It's
And
so terrible.
so Dr. Magnus lives, but boy,
Barely.
he
Yeah.
goes through some stuff.
He
Like
got cooked,
talk about
but he
getting
was just
cooked. Yeah.
yeah. He wasn't quite a crisp yet, but he was crispy.
Oh yeah.
He was definitely still because I think all his skin got burned away, didn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he
From like
was
head to toe. Yeah, it
yeah,
was. He was
he was
partially melted.
cooked. Yeah.
Yeah, he
And
was
so
well done.
yeah. And so they take him to, get healed up. And so they're like, "Okay, we should probably talk to Lex at this point. I really don't want to. I don't like him, but
Yeah.
we need to talk to Lex at this point because they're probably after him too. And this movie leads you to believe that Lex is behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
They really lead you to believe that Lex is the one who's orchestrating this because he's the only one who hasn't died. He's isolated. He's still evil adjacent. He's made it very clear that he doesn't like the Justice League, so it would make sense for him to frame them. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we're under the impression that like Lex did it. And then when Superman goes to see Lex, he starts just telling him shit like, "Hey, so I actually do have all of the files." Um and
Turns out.
yeah, and I didn't want you to have them because I don't trust you. But also, if you knew who your father actually was, I didn't want to risk you turning out like him.
Yeah.
And
Or looking up to him.
yeah, and the problem I wanted you to look up to a better man. I wanted you
Yeah.
to aspire to be somebody better than your actual father was because yeah, if you would have known, that may not have been good for us. And the problem is I get why Lex, like, I don't
Oh
hate
no,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah,
He was completely he wasn't in the right, but he was right to do that, in
yeah,
my opinion.
because and I'm sure you understand why, but I'm very against changing history to make people out to look like a better
Oh yeah.
person than they
Yeah,
were.
yeah, yeah.
Um, because we have experienced a lot of changes to history to make people look a lot less evil.
Correct.
And so in real life, don't do that.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I'm like, well, uh,
But
I
I say we don't have superpowered individuals in our real life. Well, to the same extent of that, I guess.
yeah.
So which brings me back. Like
The
Lex
thing
is a
is,
lot better in this one than he could have been
yes,
in the other ones.
Lex is
Yeah.
because yeah, Lex is not a villain in this one.
Yeah, not at all.
Like
No.
I'd argue he's a good guy in this one. Does he do some shady stuff a little bit? Yeah, but
Yeah.
honestly, is his lack of trust misplaced? No, I get it. And so yeah, I think that this is a situation where because his intentions were not malicious, I support it. Because in real life, the intentions are malicious.
Yeah.
And in this case,
Yeah,
no,
I agree.
he was wanting Superman to look up
Be
to a better
better.
person and not follow in
Yeah,
his father's ways, which could have very easily happened.
absolutely. Because
And
we know how
so
Zod is.
we know how Zod is. Yeah. And
Yeah.
honestly, Superman still had a little bit of Zod in him. And we
Yeah,
saw that.
he can't completely run from it, but
Yeah. We
that's when the
saw that.
whole. I mean, I could just take this bitch over
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, but
I could
I'll
yeah.
let it sit
I could just prepare for total
for a second. Yeah,
domination. Domination. Domination.
domination.
But
Total
I'm trying to be
domination.
better. Trying to be a
Yeah.
better person than that. And so, yeah, Lex is like, yeah, I have all the shit, and you can go collect it from Madam President. She's got it. But I didn't want you to know who your father actually was because I wanted you to be better than that. And I was worried that if you knew who he actually was, we would have a problem. So at a minimum,
Oh, yeah.
I needed Project Fairplay to be up and running before I told you anything.
Before you got all the information that you needed, all your
Yeah,
cards.
yeah, we needed to be ready for you before we, made any moves, which is why the president has all of the data. And so, um, Superman is like, all right, okay, thank you.
He's like, you should have told me, but all right,
Yeah,
thanks.
okay.
And just kind of leaves.
And then, yeah, the robot shows up and quote
Boom.
unquote kills Lex. And that's all the president needs to be like, well, yeah, we saw Superman was the last person there. We saw that it was a super like we watched that happen. So
So I
we
have a
gotta
question about that.
okay.
So they have the technology of the boom tubes and being able to stop them, right? So wouldn't
Yes.
they be able to sense when the boom tubes are happening, or like sensors or whatever?
Uh I
So,
would I would assume that, but because Dr. Magnus is the one who was behind it all, I imagine he didn't include that because I know that they have the power to suppress boom tubes, but we don't know if Project Fairplay
oh,
has the ability to open them.
because he was the head
Because
of it. Okay, that makes
yeah,
sense.
so because Dr. Magnus was the only one using boom tubes, but
Yeah.
they were just able to, I guess, put a suppressor on boom tubes in general.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were using red sun guns,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay.
And then
Okay.
they
I for some reason think they was using boom tube guns.
no, they were using red sun guns to hurt him, and then they had just a boom tube EMP pretty much, so that she
Yeah,
couldn't.
to stop Sheik. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Superman gets like genuinely framed in that
Yeah,
situation. Like the fact that he was like still there is like, oh, that's not a good look.
it was an excellent plan.
Oh
I'll tell
yeah,
you
it
that.
was very well executed, and it sucks for him that Lex, I guess, also had boom tubes
Yeah, he was already
because
ahead of him 10
yeah,
steps.
Lex was like, yeah, no, you're not gonna get me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel so bad for Lex too because he had something going on with his degenerative stuff,
Yeah.
whatever was
Um,
happening with him. Yeah,
it could have been MS. Uh, what did Stephen Hawking have?
I want to say MS, but I don't let me
Yeah,
lie to you. I don't
yeah.
know.
I was like,
Not for sure.
I don't know if it was
Yeah,
that same thing. It could have been like fucking polio. I don't know. Um, I don't know what he had,
it could
but
have been.
he yeah, we watched him degenerate over time because the first time we saw
Yeah,
him, he was pretty
the
able-bodied, but
cane.
still had a cane.
Yeah,
Well, and then yeah, he
he had the
slowly
wheelchair, and then the last time he was like kind of
in the floating chair. Yeah, head leaned.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
it's
and
terrible. That's
yeah,
pretty shitty. The one of the couple few movies where he's a good guy, he gets torn
he gets
apart.
his
That's shitty.
yeah. But um, so at that point they're like, yeah, Project Fair Play, let's go. That's I mean,
Yeah,
and that's another thing that Lex tells Superman is like Project Fair Play was for you, very specifically for you. If we
yeah.
ever needed to deal with you, that's what it was. It was in case you
Which
chose the wrong side. And so yeah, that and we have what we need. So Thank you.
Yeah, the way he completely dismissed them. He was like, yeah, no, it's just you. If you're gone, the other two ain't gonna be no problem. Like, again, Wonder Woman is why are you doing that? I don't understand. Like,
And
she's not
that's
a problem.
yeah. And that's, but I will say, if you have the means to take out Superman, you can probably, like, I think logically, yeah. If we can take out Superman, we could probably deal with Wonder Woman, but she's a different type of problem.
She's a whole nother breed. Yeah,
I
nah. Because the
agree.
red sun, the kryptonite, none of that's gonna work on her.
Yeah, like she doesn't have a weakness. You just have to fight her.
Yeah, you gotta tire her out, and she's the best of the best. So
She's the
good
best
luck.
of the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I agree, because whenever they were doing the red sun shit, she was still working.
Yeah, she's like, get this shit out.
Like she just
Like, yeah,
couldn't
dude.
boom tube, but even though she couldn't boom tube, she was still a lot of the
She was still
reason.
flying at like Mach 10, getting from place to place,
Yeah,
immediately cutting down helicopters, saving Superman. Like, dude,
yeah,
what is
she was
y'all
going.
tripping?
And
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's why in an earlier episode, Justice League Doom, the only thing Batman is able to come up with is for her to tire herself out.
Yeah, that's what I got that
That's
from.
that's
Just
it.
gotta
Like
tire her out. Yep.
that's all you can do, because there's nothing else you can do.
And
It's just
that's
too
probably
much.
gonna take days. So,
It's going to
good
take a
luck
long
again.
ass, because she doesn't get, she's fucking Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Because
So
she's the
yeah,
biggest problem.
that's the thing. She is going to do the most damage regardless,
Yes.
because Superman can be subdued pretty immediately. And everyone else was able to be handled with no casualties, no dead. Like Wonder Woman, you're gonna have to take some L's in order to take
Yeah.
her down. Like she's
She has to take
gonna
some
get the
licks.
most done. And
Oh
so,
man.
she's too much. I love Wonder Woman.
And if she has a weapon that doesn't break, she will be at it with that weapon.
Yeah.
Forever.
She's gonna go. Like, yeah, like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's too much. But we knew that.
Correct.
And so, because not only does she have all the powers, but she also has all the skills. So even if she didn't have the powers, she's still a problem.
That's why I said she's the best of the best.
The best of the
It's
best.
kind of ridiculous. Oh man.
Oh goodness. Yeah. Her being, a god is just icing on the cake.
Yep.
But the full might of the military shows up, because they institute Project Fair Play, and they're like, evacuate the city. We're doing this. Like, it's time. And so the military shows up, and Superman and Wonder Woman are like, can we talk about this? Because we didn't do it. And of course, they're like, we don't believe you, obviously. And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do this.
We don't believe you. Just turn yourself in. Why would I do that?
Why would I do that?
Lock me up. Yeah. What the fuck?
No, y'all gonna have to work for this meal. There's a reason
right.
you sent the entire military.
That's right.
And so yeah, he gets shot. Yeah, he gets shot, and he's like, "Oh, that hurt. I didn't like that one bit."
Yeah.
And so yeah, he's just getting lit up. And that's the thing. It takes they didn't kill him, but their plan was to kill him, and it took all that to not kill him. So yeah, I'm guessing
but
kryptonite wasn't a thing.
Which why is it? Well, I guess because that's what Lex said. Fair play is mostly about him.
Mm-hmm.
But like they didn't have nothing for her. It was all weapons against him.
Yep. Because I'm sure they figured anything that can hurt him can hurt her. Which is a safe assumption to make. But
yeah.
Not
knowing specific weaknesses, yeah.
Because I would assume like anything that can hurt Superman can hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Like that's a safe assumption to make. So yeah, I get it. And yeah.
No, yeah, I get it now. Yeah, you're right. Because if I have a ballistic missile and it destroys the strongest metal on Earth, it's definitely going to destroy the things right below it, right? It's like,
yep.
Okay, I guess that does make sense. That tracks. That tracks. Okay. But yeah, they put a lot of work into him and just didn't.
That's yeah. And that's the thing. Lex was the one who found the research. Like, yeah. So it makes sense that he was the one that they needed to worry about because he was in fact the one they needed to worry about.
Correct. Yeah.
And so
50% correct.
oh well, yeah. I mean, that's not to say that she's not an issue, but like if you can I understand the logic of if you can get rid of him, then you could conceivably get rid of the other two.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be the strongest, but outside
Exactly.
perspective, we know that's not how that works.
Yeah.
I feel bad for just dismissing Batman though.
Well,
he's
and
not the real Batman, but
and they figured he could be shot.
Like, which he can be.
Like a big enough explosion will handle that. Like I get that, or he could at a minimum like he could be captured and just not given blood or whatever. Like he wouldn't have been. True. He was the least to worry about as far as abilities, endurance, and survivability.
Huh.
But
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So, because I mean, the Tin Man was able to subdue him for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. I forgot him being held by Timmy Tin.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And so we're at that point. Platinum shows up and he's subdued, and then they inject him, but then he's fine. And Kirk is like, what the fuck? What's happening right now?
Yeah, because Magnus. What? Yeah, her name's not Nora. That was Miss Freeze's girl. What was that girl's name?
Oh, I know it. Tina?
Yeah, Tina. You're right. Yeah, correct. Yeah, okay. It was Tina.
So yeah, he explains.
She appeared in the Watchtower. She just walked up. She's like, "What? You're dead. What?
Yeah.
What's going on?"
Because when she shot up, I was like, Tina?
Yeah. And oh my God, baby, welcome back. It's like, nah, man, that's kind of suspicious.
And then
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, he explains his plan with the Genjutsu nanite bomb, and it's like, oh, alrighty, that's not great. So the fight outside is not going well, and then Lex shows up and he's like, hey, I'm alive, and Dr. Magnus is behind this whole thing. Because once we figure out that Dr. Magnus is behind the whole thing, it's like, oh shit. Like, that was a pretty good twist, I would say. Because the first time I saw this, I wasn't prepared for that. And also he explains, like, yeah, she was in love with you, so I hit her, and she died. And so I remade her. And it's like, oh, y'all want us to hate this man.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, they did. Oh, yeah. Because I was like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, like, they
make no damn sense. All right, sorry. Go ahead. No, don't mind.
You're good. Yeah, like he was trying to take over the world, but we're just gonna sprinkle some domestic violence and manslaughter
just to make sure
on his resume. Sure. Yeah. And because he was jealous.
Yeah.
Like I hit her, she hit her head, she died.
I can't.
And so I rebuilt her.
The whole, what is he doing? He's like, I'm the best of the best. So if there's no hope for me, there's no hope for anybody. First of all, no, you're not. You're obviously not.
First of all, you're really not.
Yeah, like for real. What do you? All right, whatever. He's gonna use that as an excuse to just wipe out it, or I'm sorry, put them all in a dream.
But that's how narcissism works. Is you think you are the shit, and it's like, well, but you're not though.
But you're super not though.
Yeah, you're really not. I promise. You're fucking not.
Jesus.
So, yeah, we find out that he's a terrible fucking guy, and so yeah, we're all like, oh yeah, kill him. Like he needs to die. If many people died in this movie, kill him. He killed pretty much the like world's leading scientists. Like he
the leading minds,
destroyed
yeah,
so much
absolutely.
progress. Like there's a whole lot of forward progress that we will not be able to make because he killed some of the most brilliant minds on Earth, and he killed his wife, and he framed the get him on up out of here. So yeah, we learned he's a terrible guy, and
Yeah.
luckily Lex shows up, and Lex is like, "Hey, he did it." So they try to get through the shield, which they can't because that shield is serious. And then Batman is able to release the shield, and then Superman is in there and like, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, get out of my house. It's like,
Right
there.
now.
You know.
And then he he fights the robots, and they merge into one robot, and that fight,
Oh yeah, that was whew, Superman was getting pieced up.
they were
That was so
throwing
terrible.
he was throwing him hands.
That 3-piece.
Like yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
oh, no.
that combo was like, oh, I had to watch it a couple times.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
you said something to me the first time we watched it, like how he was weakened from that first fight. I was like, oh, that does make sense. Yeah. For him to just get pieced up that bad is just like, oof.
Yeah, because he had
Man,
just
I'm
been
sorry.
hit with a bunch of red sun guns, so he was not 100%. And yeah,
He
that's
was,
why that fight didn't go as well for him as it could have.
Started off so wrong. So quick.
He had to struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
But then
It was definitely a struggle.
and then Wonder Woman fights Platinum, Batman fights Dr. Magnus, and then eventually everybody wins their fights, which is good. And then Dr. Magnus just melts.
I still don't understand. I don't understand. He just pressed a button, turned to Sandman, and just kind of melted. Like,
yep. He was like, well, I've lost.
Why?
So, yeah.
I still don't get it.
Because he's a bitch. Like, we hate
but
him.
I'm not, yeah, I'm not meant to understand. I get it.
So, yeah,
I
of
get
course
it.
he went out that way.
Yeah. Just like he should, I guess.
And so then, yeah, Superman or Wonder Woman decides, I got to go face my past. And Lex is like, I want to go. I ain't got shit to do. My space station is destroyed. So, you want some company?
Oh, fucking hell. Which I do love that about that. Which that's kind of always how Lex is. Just always looking to
learn, looking to explore. Yeah,
exactly. But he's always so distracted by Superman for no reason that he just
and yeah,
you don't see that side of him that much.
When Lex isn't distracted by Superman, he can get so much done.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
he's so great.
Yeah, and this is a great example of that. So yeah, he's like, Wonder Woman, I just want to observe. I don't need to help. I just want to see. I just want to see the world. Because again, my space station is gone. I ain't got nothing to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go.
I ain't got nowhere to go, nowhere to do. Come on, let's just go.
I just want to see what happens. Sure. Yeah. And then and that's the thing. Another thing, Superman gets the file, so we could see like what kind of shit he does for the world now.
Yeah.
So yeah, this needs to continue. But then we get to the Chronicles. So we'll just talk about them in the order I mentioned them, because I don't know what order they are actually in, but I assume they're all pre this movie. So I assume that the three of them are prequels. So the first one is basically Superman versus Brainiac, and Brainiac is just fucking everything up. And Dr. Savannah's like, how about we just throw a nuke in there? That'll deal with it, right? Like, and they're kind of like, well, we shouldn't nuke, Metropolis. That's not a great idea. And he's like, or hear me out, we could.
Or just stay with me now. We could do that. No, get the fuck out of my office.
Let's not do that. But that's the thing. She's eventually like, okay, yeah, nuke it. And then like the nuke is on the way. And Superman is like, hey, let me take care of it. And Dr. Savannah also mentions like, this was a part, like, we built him to deal with Superman, and now we got to call in Superman to deal with him. How does that work?
Like, how does this?
That's stupid.
That's exactly. Oh man.
And then and that's the thing.
Well,
The first time I watched this, that was not what I was expecting.
yeah.
Because every time we see Brainiac, that's not him.
Nope.
And so
Man, that's
whenever Superman finally gets in there and it's just a crying child, I was like, God damn it.
it's just no
No,
way.
not the feelings.
Uh, yeah,
And then
yeah, it's fucked up.
the baby was crying and he was like, I can't stop it. I can't control it. I don't know what to do. And of course, Superman doesn't say, let me help you. He says, I can
Nope.
end it.
He said, yeah. I mean,
That's the
which I
difference.
love that about this. It's
I do.
more real. Like
That's exactly correct. Yep. You want to talk about realistic?
Yep.
Because Clark would have been like, we can get you some help. We'll take you somewhere.
I'll do something. We can save you. And he was just
Yeah.
like, nah, I already know we can't.
Yeah. And
Which
this
maybe there was, but
hard to say.
Seemed like it was too far
Because that's the
away.
thing. We're talking about him not being able to control it. And so Superman looked at it as, I can make a way where no one else dies. And you are a machine. Also, Superman doesn't care about killing people, but also you are artificial. Yeah. So I can end it right now if that's what you want. And if he hadn't said do it, I kind of wonder how that would have gone. But Brainiac was like, yeah, do it. I am hurting. I am in pain. I am lost. I'm confused. And there are people being hurt. Yeah, end it right now. And it ends. And that's the thing. That wasn't a happy ending. That was like, that would hurt to watch.
It just ended. That's probably why I like this movie so much, is because it's like how the classic cartoons would just kind of put you in, or put the characters in real situations. Like, well, I mean, this is the way it's got to be. Like Teen Titans, the original Teen Titans. Like, yeah, that was, man. Some of the old Batman show or fucking episodes were just like, they're very heavy on it too.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's to teach a lesson, of course, but God, sometimes it's just like, man,
to teach a lesson, and again to keep it pretty realistic, because again that's like he was like, I can end it, and Brainiac was like, do it. And he said, okay,
do it, okay.
But that one hurt. I should have watched that one, or I'm glad I watched that one first.
Should have been
so that I didn't have to like finish out on that.
Be just down for the rest of the day. Yeah, like God dang, man.
So
which it's in order from like saddest to funniest, I guess.
Yep.
That shit's rough.
Because then we go to Twisted, and this is Batman versus Harley Quinn, and he's in a warehouse. We see a bunch of dismembered bodies in a refrigerator, and he finds a woman who is like kidnapped. But before that, he finds like Jack in the Boxes of half people, and like
he found a normal Jack in Box, and then a person cut in half with a spring attached to the bottom of him, just flopping in and out the box. It's like, oh my God, God's in monsters. She's the monster. Like,
that Twisted was the right name for this episode.
Yeah, correct. Jesus.
And so, we find dismembered body parts. We find a woman who's alive and still intact. And he's like, she's like, and because Batman's like, everything's gonna be okay. And she's like, oh shit, it's Harley Quinn.
It's like, she's still here. Like, what?
And she comes in swinging.
Bruh, that was, I mean, she was, of course, she's always vicious with the hammer, but when their fight scenes, just, she was getting hit by like the full force of the hammer, the handle side of the hammer just stabbed into her face. Like, oh God. And how he got just like roundhouse with the entire weight of the hammer. Like, God damn.
Yeah.
The hits were heavy every time, and I love it. Oh boy.
I agree. Yeah, like them hits hurt.
Yeah.
Like any of those hits would have knocked out a regular person.
Oh, they would have killed a regular person.
Like at a minimum, unconscious.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Then we get to, her little family setup, like the little living room that she had of corpses, I guess.
Yeah.
And then she whipped out the chainsaw.
Boy. Again, I can't get over that. How realistic they made. Because usually it'd be, oh, they swing the chainsaw, hit the pole. Oh, they just turn around. She hit the chainsaw. It stuck for a second and then popped off and then slashed her. Like, oh man, that's nice. I like how you did that. That's so great.
Because that's how that would have gone. Like
that's how that should go.
That's how chainsaws work. And so, and that's something we never see. So, yeah. And so, she's like, all right, you got me. Go ahead and take me to jail. And if this had been Bruce, that's exactly how that would have gone.
Yeah. He would have maybe like, yeah, fuck you, Harley. All right, let's go. But he's like, no, I didn't say nothing about going to jail, did I?
Yeah.
What?
Jail?
I mean, yeah.
Honey, you got me confused with somebody. If you think you're going to jail, because we already did that jail shit. We already tried that, and clearly it didn't work.
Yeah.
And I wonder what's the thing that made Batman decide no jail today? I'm wondering, was it the dismembered bodies? Was it the Jack in the Box? Was it the woman who had been actively kidnapped? Was it the petrified family? Was it the blood from the chainsaw? That I wonder what was the thing where Batman was like, nah, she's not walking out.
I would like to say all of the above, most likely. And
Perhaps.
Plus the whole, all right, take me to jail. I'll just get out, whatever. Like, nah, we're not doing this again. Like, you probably got tired of that too, because you probably put her in quite a few times before that.
And it might be that. It might be the, all right, you got me. Go ahead and take me to jail. Her saying that might have been him being like, actually,
you know what? Nah.
As a matter of fact, I don't think I will.
Yeah.
So, and then we get to Big. Man. So in Big, we see that Steve Trevor is, on a mission and he gets captured, but then Wonder Woman shows up. They're able to fight off the enemies, but Giganta gets activated. Now, normally Giganta is alive, but
a woman. Yeah.
In this, she's a robot, and we see that Steve Trevor's like, no, this is my mission. I will handle it. And she's like, oh, okay. I'm going to let you ball out.
Yeah.
You got it. Now go ahead.
That's another thing I like. It's because it's more, it's not like, oh, she's going to save him whenever his life is in danger. She's just sitting there watching him get his ass beat, just like, yeah, this is what you said. You said you watching him. You go ahead.
Getting his ass beat. And she's like, just let me know when you're ready to tag in.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm going to do exactly what you said.
All right. Yeah, I love that. Just post it up on the wall. Oh, man.
And I'm sure he was like, are you just not going to help? And she was like, no. He didn't say, no, not you. And now you're going to have to ask nicely.
Yep.
Would you please help me, please? That's all you had to say. I thought you'd never ask.
Sorry, I'm a little hard of hearing. Say it a little bit louder for me.
Say it one more time for me?
Please.
What was that?
Right, that's all you had to say. God, what you waiting for?
Yeah. Of course I'll help you. That's all you had. Yeah. So, yeah, she steps in and, it's a difficult fight, but she eventually has enough of it and she decides, all right, it's time to end this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she does. And doing that, it gets her in the mood, I guess.
Boy, I don't like what is going. Which I guess the heavy action, your adrenaline's pumping. I guess I get it, but
that's the difference between. That's the main difference between at least the main version of Diana that we get and this Wonder Woman. Like Diana, she isn't necessarily interested in that. Becca, she fucks.
Becca. Yeah, that's right. That's so right.
That is,
man.
Becca, she fucks. And I'm like, why did you destroy my phone?
Oh yeah, because he was like, no, I gotta call it in. She's like, no, you don't. Scrap. Like, come on, man, I gotta get a new phone now. Why you do that?
I was like, God damn it, that was a good phone.
Just throw it to the side.
You didn't have to smash it. We just had to wait. Like we're gonna do it. But you
look, I
didn't.
promise you, I still want to do this. Just
Yeah,
you didn't have to break it.
you didn't have
I
to
don't need to
destroy
call
my
it in.
phone.
Jesus Christ.
And yeah, he said, "Am I gonna need a safe word?"
Yes.
Yes, yes,
The
you
answer is
will.
always yes.
Yeah.
When it
With
comes to
Becca,
Becca, yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
you will need a safe word.
absolutely.
We need to establish that before anything happens.
I don't know why he didn't already know it. I'm just confused.
Yeah, who knows?
Ugh. Oh,
But yeah,
Jesus.
I guess Steve Trevor was very handsome because yeah, she was ready.
She wanted some of that, which
And this thing
Bob.
just right there in the warehouse or wherever they were
Yeah,
in
that's
the building.
yeah. Dead people all around. Did not matter. Just
Yeah, yeah, bodies and a big ass
uh
robot. Yeah, didn't
yeah.
matter. And
Hey,
maybe
whatever.
she was like, "I'll boom tuba somewhere else," or it's like, "No, right here."
No, that did not. That's not what that looked like. That didn't look like.
That's
I'll
correct.
take us to a bedroom. Nah, it looked
Nope,
like
nope.
get
Right
me on the
now,
floor over
right
here in front of
now.
this dead robot lady.
Uh
Like,
huh.
okay, sure.
Because I just see a big
Which,
giant robot head just looking.
yeah, I mean, but hey,
If you don't,
Becca
I
got it
mean,
going on. Like, you know what?
she
Yeah,
fucks.
okay,
It
sure.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Oh shit.
scale of 1 to 10, what are we thinking?
9.6.
Ooh, that's high. That's high
I mean,
praise.
it's one of the better ones for me.
It's a good movie. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this a 9. There are a lot of things. There wasn't really much about it that I didn't like. Like I'm not able to really point to anything and be like, "Oh, I didn't like that." It was really good. The thing I'm more mad about is that this world didn't continue and that there's not more
Oh
from
yeah.
this universe. Like that's not a knock on this. That's speaking to how good it was and how this world needs more content on it specifically. Like I would love stories from this universe.
Yeah.
And I know that we talk about stuff being realistic in a world of people that can fly and shoot lasers and shit, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of realistic things in this that make me like it more.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm giving this is a solid 9. This is
Um, I have a question.
okay.
Would it be bumped up more if Darkseid did a little more?
Perhaps. I
Okay.
will say,
Sure.
that is one of the main gripes I have. But
Yeah.
because this is a world of different versions of people, I can just make peace with the fact that the dark side in this world was a bitch.
Yeah.
And sometimes people catch strays. Everybody can't be great in every situation. But yeah, I had a problem with that.
Okay.
So I would have liked it more if Darkseid had like even if that just had if we never saw Darkseid, I would have liked it more.
Okay.
Like Darkseid could have just not made an appearance, and I would have liked it more. But the fact that that's
Honestly, the
what
story wouldn't
happened,
have changed that much either.
it would not have changed
Jesus.
that much. They could have killed Darkseid. They could have killed everybody else in the room. Granny Goodness, Desaad, like all of them could have died, and it would have been fine. But yeah, like me seeing that happen to Darkseid was an issue.
Yeah. No,
If
I
they had
agree.
flipped it, if it had been that Becca was from Apocalypse and she was marrying one of the new gods and Apocalypse had done the coup, that
That
would
makes
have been
sense.
better. Like, because that's some
I
dark
mean, that
side
also
shit.
makes sense. Yeah. Which I mean, the what's his name? Not the High Evolutionary. What's his
High
name?
Father.
The High Father. I mean, he is kind of the same to where he goes and takes what he wants, and well,
Yeah,
to an
but
extent, he's not as bad as Darkseid though,
yeah, that's the thing.
in my opinion.
He's not dark side because I would have loved to just see it start with an Omega beam.
Yeah.
Just
Just
as
bing, bing,
soon as
bing, bing. Pow.
as soon as the wedding is over, we just see that Omega beam just
Shit, yeah. And honestly, he
oh
probably could have cleared all of them by himself
he
with
could
that.
have, which is why I'm so pissed.
Okay. All right. Never mind. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Well, my
It's
bad.
fine, but
My bad.
I'm not holding that super against the movie
Okay.
because that's my own personal bias or whatever. But
Yeah.
other than that, again, if I had not seen Darkseid, it would have been better than seeing Darkseid in this capacity for me.
Get popped. God.
Yeah.
God.
So, yeah, 9. I really enjoyed this movie, and I want more of this universe. And the fact that I want more of this universe lets me know how much I enjoy this movie.
Yeah. Okay.
So, anything else?
I don't like how they did Harley Quinn, but
She
that's
is one
fine,
of
I
your
guess.
favorites.
Yeah.
And yeah, they made her yeah, she had some issues.
They made her fall off the deep end, like very much so.
Yeah. Like this
Um,
is easy. I think this is the craziest Harley Quinn we've seen.
yes.
That's why this
Yes,
was
it
called
is.
Twisted.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
wonder
I
if this
mean, which
Harley
it's
Quinn was
still
even a
good to see
doctor.
different. I mean, she
I
did do
mean,
some stitching pretty well. Maybe a different type of
she
doctor.
may have
I
been a
don't know.
medical doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Ooh.
know. And then she just went crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
But other than that, nah, I have nothing else about it. Everybody should watch it. I've recommended it to a couple people already, but we'll see.
Good. And hopefully they watch it before listening to this episode, because we
True.
talked about it. So
Yeah,
in the
definitely.
next episode, we will be discussing Batman Bad Blood. So until then, salutations.